Hey guys, welcome to Big Sister. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. I'm in my car, guys, so I'm gonna be taking this little drive out to this appointment that I have, and I want to talk with you all about something that is happening. Some of you are probably experiencing it, and then you're trying to figure out why is this happening to me? And we're going to talk about people building a case against you. Building a case. Now, first of all, the things we have to understand is that there are a lot of narcissists in the world. We were all indoors, locked in, and YouTube suddenly blew up. You know, YouTube was always there, but as far as I'm concerned, YouTube was not the go-to, at the time. And so YouTube produces a wealth of videos on narcissistic behaviors. And narcissists are selfish individuals. Every one of us have a little bit of narcissistic tendencies, but some are more so than the others. They're a hollowed out soul. They spend their lives being selfish, doing wrong to people, never take accountability, never take responsibility, cannot see when they did something wrong, hardly ever apologize, if at all. They're wicked, vindictive, and a lot of it happened because something happened in their childhood that messed them up. And they never reconciled with that. They've never dealt with it. It's always been someone else's fault. In addition to that, we live in times right now where people are just, nothing is anyone else's fault. I mean, we're living in times where serial killers, people who mass shooters, there's an excuse for why they did it. The guy that ran through and killed all those people during the Christmas parade, there's an excuse. We're always talking about mental health, whatever it may be, and not that that's not a reality, but it's a reality, but not an excuse for bad behavior. But when we're living in times where there's an excuse for just about everything, to include murder, then you can understand why you're going to meet a lot of people who are narcissistic, because when they leave one relationship or whatever situations they deal with in their life, it's easier to blame someone else, not take accountability, even though sometimes, yes, you meet someone that did something wrong to you. But with that, we always have to examine ourselves as well to say, why did I allow myself to continue to be in this relationship with this person despite what they were doing? And then we begin to do the groundwork at the core of ourselves and find out why we keep making poor decisions. And in doing so, you'll be able to make better decisions. Now, with that said, there are people that they are not doing that. They're not interested in doing the work and finding out what's going on. Instead, what they will do is continue to do evil, continue to do wrong, continue to do manipulating things, because it's like a sport to them. They enjoy it. They enjoy it. They like being wicked. They like to see the surprise on your face. They like to sow seed and division. They operate by either outrightly lying or by omission. They tell you part of the truth, but not all of it. And they go through their life in this cycle of toxicity. So it really boils down to the victim, unfortunately, and those who are at the receiving end of it, to do something about it. And that is, you cannot change that person, but you can change your environment. Some of you may not be in the position to do that at this point, and what you can do is pray and ask God to help you to have opportunities. And when you get those opportunities, bounce. Do what you need to do. Separate yourself from these individuals, because they're dangerous. And what they do is, how people will destroy you, how wicked people will destroy you, how evil, vindictive people will destroy you is by building a case against you. And how they do that is, over a period of time, you will find these individuals, whether you are aware of it or not, will be going around and telling people all sorts of things about you. Okay? They're doing things wrong, but they're telling a one-sided narrative. And unfortunately, people, even adults, are very privy to just believing a side of a story and running with it. Sometimes they have experienced things themselves and they just automatically feel like, I have to believe this person because she's a woman. I have to believe him because he is my frat brother. I have to believe this person because they go to my church. They're my pastor. They're my leaders. They're my best friends. And so they just believe, and they don't ever sit back and scrutinize a situation, and they are quick to just believe things about you. So how people will build a case against you is that for months and even years, they'll go around telling different people things about you, a false narrative about you, and people will just believe it. And they themselves are doing things, antagonizing you, continuing to treat you maliciously, do you wrong, take things from you, steal from you, just continue to do things. And then eventually what's going to happen is when they get ready to totally destroy you, when they get ready to press charges, false charges against you, when they get ready to try to do things to take your children from you, or they get ready to do something to smear your name and to cause you to lose an opportunity, they will be able to go back to those people that they've been talking to for years and ask for statements, right? They can go to different people and say, can you write a statement? You know, this person is doing this person is acting up. I may have to go to court, or I have to just have a few statements so that I can take this action against this individual. And you know what? Because they've been talking to them for so long, they are able to write down what they know of you, albeit secondhand. And that's how they build a case against you. How else do they build a case against you? By antagonizing you, doing things to you. Now, you've been a patient person. You're not a violent person. You have tried. You have been doing your best to avoid any sort of confrontation. But this person knows how to poke you. This person knows how to upset you. This person knows how to push your buttons. And what happens when you finally have a meltdown, when you are angry, when you are reacting? What do? They have the cell phone. They have got the cell phone to record you in that rare moment of you reacting. You may be yelling, you may be screaming, you may be cursing, you may even be breaking something. Not saying it's right, but they've pushed you to this point. Again, I'm not saying having violent outbursts are okay, but we know that sometimes a person can be so manipulative to someone that the person gets cornered and they just react. Why? They're lashing out, they're in pain, they've had enough, and they're right there with the camera. Or they call someone right at that moment and be like, oh my God, they're over there yelling and screaming. And they are letting the person listen in, or calling the person on the phone, smirking and looking at you with a smirk on the face because the person can't see them. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they're acting like this. Please talk to them, right? So now, not only have they been going around and telling people crazy things about you and lying, where people can have a witness statement against you, but also now someone can say, I actually heard, I actually saw. They recorded this and showed it to me, and this is how the person is. They don't have the bigger picture, but they extract those moments of weaknesses, bad judgment, and say, this is how you are on a whole. This is how a person who is vindictive can build a case against you. And that is why it is very important that you take the steps that you need to do to safeguard yourself. Some people, you just can't be around them because they're going to antagonize you and they're going to do certain things. They are well versed in evil. They are well versed in being deceptive, and you're not going to win. And the only way that you can win is to cut it off like a toxic cancer. Separate yourself. Put yourself in a position where you're no longer in a house where someone could antagonize you, someone could be threatening towards you. Whatever you need to do. You know, I tell people about the military. If you have the opportunity, go. You don't have to stay in all the time. Escape. Get out. Go to school, do well in school so you could go off to college, take job opportunities, take contract jobs overseas. There's so many things. Take a job position in another state. And there's nothing wrong with it. What happens is a lot of times these same people, when you separate yourself, they try to guilt you back. Why? Because they're desperate for supply. They need someone to abuse. You know, they may have other people, but you were the main one. But regardless of whatever happens, guys, what I just want to tell you is the most important thing is what you will do. If you don't protect yourself, don't expect them to do it. And people will build a case against you. And sometimes they get enough ammunition because you continue to have them around you. It is extremely dangerous, especially when you're married to someone who's trying to get rid of you. You know, in the United States, your spouse can do so much and build a case against you and cause you to seem like you're crazy. And where they will be able to admit you into a mental hospital, and it's up to them when you get out. Or it's up to them and the providers when you're going to get out. This is very possible because they can make you crazy. They can do things. Some people go through that. The person is doing all sorts of stuff to cause a person to question their sanity, and then they're calling other people and they're telling other people things and building the case. Oh, this is what they did, just lying. So everyone has a little bit of a narrative about you doing all these crazy things. So when they get ready to get rid of you, and when they're getting ready to commit you to a mental ward, oh, there's going to be all sorts of individuals that you didn't even know will come out the woodwork and say, well, they told me this and that and this and that. And there are all these statements based on what? Based on what this individual has told them. So guys, safeguard yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it. You get the help that you need. Separate yourself. And I'm telling you, even if you're a teenager, it's not too early for you to recognize those things. Children, kids these days, they have so much stuff going on in them. You know, sometimes they're being raised by narcissists, and so they practice displacement. They have to lash out on somebody else. They have to blame somebody else. They have hate for everybody. You are the reason why this has happened. They're unhappy at home, so what they do is they lash out on you at school. You have that friend that can't be happy for you. They're jealous of you, and you're shrinking and shrinking, trying to make them feel comfortable. No, that is not your job. Building a case against you. I'm not telling you to be paranoid. This is not always a case for everybody, but some of you, you know what it's like. People who you were friends with suddenly are not speaking to you. People you got along with, suddenly you don't get along with them. Why? Someone is building a case against you. That person is going around and telling them things about you. And unfortunately, so many adults are walking around willing to believe lies about you and never asking you a question. And those people, sometimes you have to question them. Why were they so quick to believe what someone said about you without ever knowing you, without seeing any proof about it? 9 times out of 10, they already had something against you. So they willingly and happily accepted any negative narrative someone will tell them to validate and to kind of confirm what they've been feeling about you anyway. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helps you out. Let me keep going. This traffic's getting crazy. Bye.